Hi, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk for a few minutes about soul purpose. There's been so much talk about it lately with so many more people awakening, as well as some of my private sessions in my classes where people are feeling this uncomfortable pull towards something and they don't quite understand what that something is. In some cases, some have gone for different kinds of training, like Reiki or singing bowls, tuning forks, and it just still feels like something is missing, like there's something that they should be doing that they're not doing. And so I wanted to take a few minutes today and just talk about this and hopefully clarify some of what's taking place in your physical body that's making you feel this way, and why it's okay to just be okay with where you are right now. So what happens is, as we are going through our spiritual evolution, our ascension process, we're activating through our day-to-day experiences these key codes and light codes. And we activate them through our interactions with each other, as well as maybe some of the spiritual tools we might be using, or tuning into different mentors to study different philosophies. And so what's happening is as we're activating these key codes and light codes, um, they are held in our field. And when they are activated, they then go into a process of alchemizing into our physical body. And so when we turn on enough of these light codes that are in our field, sometimes if we've turned on enough all at once, we might feel overwhelmed by this drive or this desire to suddenly need to figure out what it is that we're supposed to do. Why am I here on the earth? What is my purpose? What is my mission? And so that can be very, very overwhelming at times. But what that's really about is the activation of these codes in your field, integrating into your physical body and raising your vibration. And as your vibration raises, your field is now having to become comfortable with this new vibrational level. And so it may create a little bit of anxiety until everything syncs up, and it may create this pulling sensation or pushing sensation where you feel like you're being pulled or pushed toward higher learning of some kind. And I've recently had many experiencing themselves participating in different kinds of training, like Reiki and singing bowls and tuning forks and yoga, and being certified in those areas. And then after the first or second level of certification, feeling unfulfilled by what they just experienced, because now they're feeling like it's not quite enough, or there's something that needs to be done, or something more that they're supposed to be doing. And so when we allow ourselves to visit those different modalities and have those experiences, like, let's say, Reiki, we allow ourselves to participate in Reiki training, which then further activates more light codes and key codes within our field. And as those light codes and key codes are activated in our field, it's also calling up a timeline, an incarnation, as we could say, is what would be equated to a past life, that we were a healer, and perhaps that life was never satisfied. So we brought it back in as a fractaled aspect of our soul in this lifetime now, in this incarnation that we're looking to heal. And that Reiki class that you take, that training, then becomes an initiator to healing this fractaled aspect that was a healer, a hands-on healer that is wanting now to be resolved and recognized. And so you go on to do some Reiki healing on others and then suddenly don't feel connected or called to do Reiki anymore. And that's okay. It's not like there's anything wrong with you. Actually, what's happened is you satisfied that fractaled aspect of yourself by allowing yourself to participate in that Reiki training, and that timeline has now integrated, and you're not feeling connected to maybe doing Reiki anymore. So now you may be feeling called to do tuning forks or singing bowls or maybe teaching yoga and getting certified as a yoga teacher. And all of these things are really initiations, right? It's an initiant into a higher aspect of yourself, a higher level of your soul self. And so what ends up happening is as you are activating these different aspects of yourself, you're raising your vibration, and it's allowing you to then experience your state of beingness, your higher knowing in a different way. And sometimes that can feel overwhelming to us, and it feels like we need to stop doing our day job and go work in the spiritual field in some way, in some modality. And that's not necessarily the case, right? Because I've heard teachers suggest that people just quit their jobs, walk away, and suddenly become a tarot card reader, a psychic medium, a healer, whatever. And the problem with that is if you have a job that is supporting you, that is supporting your well-being, and you suddenly quit that job to go into the modality that you're feeling drawn to, you may be putting yourself in survival mode. And then survival mode would bring you imbalance. And so maybe that job that you are really not loving anymore has some more lessons to it that you need to work through or learn before you can leave it to go do a more spiritually based business. But if you think about it from this perspective, and all, like, let's say 7 billion people on the earth all got activated at the same time and decided that they were all leaving their job to become healers, then we might have some kind of a apocalyptic crash on the earth, because suddenly there wouldn't be anybody driving the gas trucks to deliver gas anymore, or the people at the banks to assist and support the transactions. And in one spontaneous movement, we'd have to figure out a brand new system of maybe, let's say, barter, so that we could all then get along. So, while that sounds like a really great world to participate in, if it happened all at once or too quickly, it would actually create a collapse of our infrastructure, of our system. So that's not the answer either. But what is the answer is for you to be experiencing all of these different things, all of these different modalities, and how they are connecting you to different situations, circumstances, and people in your life that may be a stepping stone or a bridge to something else. And the more you're willing to experience and participate in life to its fullness, the greater your opportunity for aligning yourself with exactly where you're meant to be in your life. And, you know, looking back at 2000, when I had cancer for the first time, that definitely was an activation for me, a crisis that I was in, to push me forward to looking at my purpose in my spiritual work. But it wasn't until 4 years later when I had cancer again a second time, and then that was really what pushed me fully into this, and I was trying to regain myself, and, in the event of doing that, regaining who I was and losing weight and eating healthier and all of that, I was going to the gym and actually hurt my hip and then had to go to a chiropractor, and actually, if I hadn't done any of that, I wouldn't have gone to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which was the kickoff for everything, because the chiropractor is actually the one that said, hey, you have so much knowledge about cancer and healing the body. You'd be really great at this school if you went to the school. And I practically enrolled the next day, right? So he was the catalyst, but there were a lot of things that were taking place before then. And I was still working a corporate job, right? Making an extremely good salary, probably making, $100,000 a year. And then I got really excited with school. And the more excited with school that I got, I started to turn on those gifts that are innately inside all of us, right? We left them for ourselves to access as soon as we unlock these little time locks between all of the energy coming in from the solar system and the earth and the connection to our personal field. And so as I was going through school and then Reiki popped up, the next thing I knew I was enrolling in Reiki 1 and 2 for training, took them both together. And then he gave me an office and a little office room in his big office. And I started seeing people for Reiki. And then things just happened and kind of unfolded one after the other after that. But if I hadn't gone through the steps that I went through in self-discovery, I wouldn't have maybe gone down that road to IIN and then got, certified in Reiki, and then went on to become a Reiki master teacher in Asui, and then took Karuna Reiki and became a master teacher in that as well. And then quite a few years ago, I found that Reiki was no longer speaking to me in that way, and I wasn't connected to it anymore because I had learned so much about the energetic body through Reiki, and that was really what I needed from Reiki, right? It wasn't really about being a hands-on healer as much as it was gaining the insight and the intuition to be able to read the body and see where imbalances are held and how they're pertaining to the different health issues that are coming through the body. That was really what I was supposed to be moving toward. And so I kind of left Reiki behind and stopped teaching and stopped doing Reiki sessions and started doing other types of work. And so, a lot of that is really an initiation into higher levels within ourselves, higher ways of thinking, and that pulling that you're feeling, um, that anxiousness to do something more, or why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Is really being created by all of these light codes that are in your field, that are being activated, that are coming in fast and furious and making you feel this rush. But we're not in this life to suffer, right? That's not really why we're here. We are here to experience the wonder of being in the physical form, in human form. And so it's not my belief that we're supposed to be in survival mode, because I've been there. I've been there in this work, in survival mode. I had a crash in March 2013, right after I asked for a divorce from my ex-husband. And then in June, my mom passed away suddenly, and I thought I was going to go to North Carolina and live with her. And every time I tried to exit Long Island, it just kind of like shut down that pathway because my work here was not finished. So, looking back at that, I was clearly in survival mode for many years, and that it took a lot of deep excavation on my part to come to the place even where I am right now, right? And this whole past year being in this house has been my biggest growth in my entire life. And so sometimes we're exactly where we're meant to be. We just have to see that and not look beyond ourselves, because when we're looking beyond ourselves and we're always reaching and we're always searching for something else, we're saying where we are is not good enough, or what we're doing is not good enough, or who we are in this moment is not good enough. And that's not true. We're exactly where we're meant to be. We might not love it, but that just means that whatever it is that's coming up that we're not loving, we have to find a way to love it so that we can integrate it. And in integrating it through that love, we raise our vibration again, and then we can ascend to the next level where we're supposed to be. So everything is really here right where we're supposed to be for the purpose of supporting us on our journey and helping us along. And in your desire to work with where you are right now and sit back and listen to what your body is saying, listen to your higher self, tune into your guides, you will be able to really fully come into yourself and know who you are at such a deep level that you might not need to go through any more initiations or take any more classes or do anything other than just be, and it will start to open up. And that's kind of what's happened for me over the last several years. I was working with many mentors, which was so great because it activated me and it opened me to these new pathways. And I was always feeling that calling each time I activated a new aspect of myself to do something more, to be pulled to something else. But what's actually happened is over the last couple of years, the last 2 or 3 years, I've let go of the mentors and I've just been counseling with my higher selves. And in doing that, I've come to know myself so much more and understand so much more. And life has gotten so much sweeter for me that I don't have a desire to be anyplace else other than right where I am in this moment, because being in this moment is what's creating the next moment, and then the moment after that, and the moment after that, right? You can't create what you're wanting to experience tomorrow if you're not making today the all. If today is not everything for you. Because if you're not giving your all to today, then you might be missing out on interacting or engaging in something that will then ignite something amazing tomorrow. So be present in all that you're doing. And when you're feeling that strong pull, just know that it's because your body is lighting up with all this new information. And that new information that it's lighting up with is making you feel like you're being pulled or drawn to something more. But that more is really not outside of you. It's not the more outside that gives you more certifications or more knowledge. It's the more that is you. It's the more that is within you, right? So I just really hope you take that in and this makes some sense and it resonates with you, because that's what soul purpose is really about. It's about being our true, authentic self, being who you are, because so many people are wanting to be something else and they're not being their true, authentic self. And in being your true, authentic self, you'll actually activate more of that intel that you hold inside that is going to bring more of your truth forward, more of your authenticity forward. So I hope this was helpful for you and you resonate with some of this. And if you are interested, I have classes all the time and we talk about stuff like this as well as what's taking place in the cosmos and on the earth. And I'd love to have you join me sometime for that. That's an interactive live on Facebook. You can find the information on my website and I will post all the links below. And again, I just want you to be you, be true, be authentic. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you.